From our studios in Jones Bay Wharf, Sydney and Singapore, here's Pod O'Sullivan with Don't Let the Old Man In, a podcast from the Wisdom Vault.
You talk about a word that I love. You talk about the word thrivers. And you say that in Singapore, longevity is no longer a question. It's just accepted because everyone can see that. We're living well into your 80s, but we're expected to retire in our 60s. And you're saying, can we avoid the word seniors and talk about the notion of thriving in that third act or that third transition? Tell me more about the word thriving, because when I read about that, what I thought was, this is such a contradiction to the stereotypes of midlife crisis and getting old, etc.
As a group at this age, when we probably are living in the best time of our life, we don't have to worry about, many of us don't have to worry about money, not that we're wealthy, but we're well taken care of. And we don't have duties, okay? And yet we don't talk about consequential things about what we do in the future. And why is it that we don't do that? And so I thought about this and I said, well, why don't we organize ourselves? And how do we do that? Well, the way I thought about this was that, okay, you need to have like-minded people together. Okay, not everyone wants to, do a project or, or give to society. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to just drink coffee, play golf. That's fine. Play bowling or whatever, go bowling. So how do you find like-minded people to do this? Well, the best way is to put a program together that advertises learning, lifelong learning. So you attract a certain kind of people
who want to learn.
They want to learn. They're curious. They're open-minded. They don't see themselves as being done with life. That's why they still want to learn. So you automatically qualify a certain group of like-minded people together. And you put them together in a program and you give them a lot of interesting classes that you can call it random, but there's just a variety of subjects. Feed their curiosity, have them go through the program, attending classes together, and then they socialize. And it's incredible what magic can come out of it. You give them the social affirmation that, we should do a project together. And they socialize, build deep friendship. Next thing you know, they're building magic together. It's just wonderful to watch. So I'm building this program at NUS. We call it Distinguished Senior Fellowship Program. It's the first in Asia.
Yes.
And really, really pleased with it. So I wanted to share that with you.
How long did it take you from that idea to get the program up and running?
About a year and a half. And that's considered sonic speed for a university.
I've been involved in universities. That's like a flash of lightning.
That's considered sonic speed in a university. The funny story is the following. So my background is I teach entrepreneurship, right? You mentioned that at the beginning, those who can do, those who can't teach, right? So my background is entrepreneurship and I teach innovation. And so in my heart of heart, I'm still an entrepreneur, okay? So I wanted this program for myself. I wanted to learn random things, right? I was a year and a half ago, I was 64 or so, and I was like, I want to learn subjects like religion, anthropology, stuff I never had a chance to learn because I ended up studying computer science and then, ended up going to the tech industry and becoming a business executive, et cetera, et cetera. I missed out on the whole subject of humanities. And so now I'm kind of facing sort of the tail end.
All for you.
Tail end of my career. And I'm going to go take some of these classes. I looked around, there's no such thing in Asia. You can't do it. If you want to take those subjects, you have to enroll in a master's degree program. Well, I'm not interested in another degree.
I want to learn.
I want to just learn the subject.
So
I looked around and I said, well, I can't find this anywhere. Well, being entrepreneurial, you got to think this way. If I can't find the product, I'm going to make it. So I do what entrepreneurs do. So if I'm going to make this product, where should it be? Of course, at NUS, right? Which is where I'm adjunct professor. So I made an appointment with our NUS president, Professor Tang En Chai. And this is a large university with
very prestigious university,
tens of thousands of lecturers, employees, etc. Right? Who's Virginia Cha, right? So fortunately, he had years ago sat in the audience while I gave some speech and pretended to know what I was saying. Anyway, he was impressed enough to remember my name.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all you need. Okay, you need the boss. I call him the kahuna.
Right, the big kahuna. He
The
knew
big
your
kahuna.
name.
Yeah.
Where
He remembered my name. So I shot out an email to him and asked if I could have 30 minutes of his time. And he's a very, very kind person, very open-minded. He said, sure, half an hour of my time. Come, and he gave me a date, which was, some months later. But I was grateful. I went and sat in his office and on the sofa and just pitched the idea to him. No PowerPoint. Just told him what I thought and, wouldn't it be a great idea? And he was the one who said, oh, yes, we're going into super age, super senior society. This is a great idea. So he arrowed me to work with our NUS faculty called SCALE, okay,
right.
which is the School of Continual and Lifelong Learning Education, okay. So I found my partner in crime, and that was a year and a half ago, and we cooked this up and launched it just like that in a year and a half, which is unheard of. Unheard of. An entire program from idea to launch, a year and a half.
It would take an entrepreneur to do that. Yeah, but
a lot of ways. I can't say that everybody was along the way were happy with the pace. Let's just say.
So you've had, I think it's 21 fellows come in. Is that correct?
Yes, 21.
Yeah. And they go through a 13-week program.
Yes.
And you said, I didn't say it, you said they have a random amount of subjects thrown at them.
Yes.
When I looked at it, I was looking at you got history, culture, religion, philosophy, contemporary affairs. It's an extraordinary buffet of learning.
Yes, yes.
And they do a purpose project.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay. So the way we organize this, there is some structure to this randomness, okay? So we structured the program to be one semester. So in NUS, one semester is 13 weeks long. So think of it as 3 months plus a week, okay? So the way I structured this is the first month are classes, second month would be field work, and I'll touch upon that later. Third month, more classes, and then the final 13th week is the capstone, okay? So that's the overall calendar structure. Then within that, what do we do in those days? Well, the first month, we call it Explore. So we have the following sets of classes, and each class is 3 hours long. So executive style, 3 hours. So we have the following sets of classes. We have what we call the core module, where what we talk about would be things like theory of change, how do you make an impact, and then for the fellows to form teams and do a purpose project together in the entire 13 weeks. Okay. So we discussed that in the core module, okay? We have a signature module we call Thriving in the 100-Year Life. And that one we use, thinking about the Blue Zone, we use the 3 important factors, which is lifestyle, what you eat, nutrition, etc. Second one would be genetics, your genes. Okay. So we cover things like the science of cancer, the science of chronic diseases.
Professor Andy Tay is
involved. Yes. And then the third would be healthcare economics. How does the healthcare system work? So in the Thriving in 100-Year Life, we cover these aspects under that module. Okay. And so each module runs both in month 1 and month 3 when there are 10 classes. And each class is, 3 hours long. Okay, so there are 10 classes on Mondays to cover core in the morning, Thriving in 100-Year Life in the afternoon, the whole day class. Then on Wednesdays, on month 1 and month 3, we cover what we call electives. The electives would be the whole buffet of, history, appreciation of the arts, culture, religion, food anthropology, etc.
This goes back to what you wanted originally for you.
Yes. Random classes. It is somewhat random in that it's just classes that are interesting. Yeah. There's no structure in the sense of, is there a reason why it's in this order? And the truth is, no, not much. Because hey, it's called exploration.
Yep.
You're supposed to explore new knowledge.
Adventure.
Yeah. And who am I to suggest that you should take classes in the specific order because it would have this effect? Heck, I don't know. I'm not a humanities expert. I just find these topics interesting. Two things surprised me quite a bit. We're almost in the last month now of the program, of the inaugural cohort. The one huge thing that really surprised me, and then I'll talk about the second one, is that the deep friendship that came out of it. I mean, it's amazing to see these 21 fellows interact with each other like children. And the mean age of the group is 62.
Okay.
And the oldest being 82, the youngest being 47. Okay. But to see them interact with each other like children, laughing and genuinely care about each other and having a very active WhatsApp group, it's just amazing to watch. It really surprised me because if you think about it, if I went out there and recruited people to come to an education program and say, come to this program, NUS procedures, and by the way, you'll make great friends. Imagine people at this age is like, I don't need more new friends. I got enough friends.
It's a program, of course, they're paying to be on, right? It's not a free program.
It's not a free program. So they're like, why would I need to make new friends? I got enough friends. I don't even have time with the friends I've got. Yeah. Okay. But really surprised me, and I probably surprised them as well.
Is that down to the purpose project, do you think? Or is it down to the wider content? Or
I think it's a combination. I think one, they are meeting each other in a psychologically safe environment. There's no agenda. They did meet each other because they had work and history, right? They meet each other for the first time. And when we start the program, the core project, we do this, what we call, tell us your origin story. And I make it explicit that not your LinkedIn profile, meaning you don't tell us about, your profession. Just, start from childhood.
Yep.
What made you who you are? And it was just such an amazing experience to have each one get up and be so genuine, so authentic, so open kimono, that immediately opened up a whole new world for everyone. To get to that level of understanding of each other. And then, of course, we did a trip together to Cambodia. They attend classes together. And of course, they divide themselves into different teams doing projects together. And I think the combination of these things together made for deep friendship. I mean, I think you can confirm this with one of the fellows with you. So I think it's that. The second thing that surprised me, and this is to the interesting subject that you do, which is on males in middle age. I have noticed that the male fellows, and we are about 70% males, 30% female. Okay. We have 6 females. Okay. The males in the group, I noticed that we've been together for about 2 months now. Compared to when they first joined the program to now, I noticed a distinct difference in their energy.
That's interesting.
It's really noticeable.
How would you describe the energy now?
They walk around more bouncy. When they walk in, they're much more animate. Okay. They some of them even, coincidentally lost weight. One of them joked to me like his wife is wondering, what's this class?
Who's Virginia?
So, so they seem more energetic, more animated. It's just all around seem to be high energy. And I just noticed this with the male cohort, not so much with the female. Not that they're, worse than before or anything. Yeah, it's just, it's not a noticeable difference. But for the males, I noticed a big difference.
I'm not surprised to hear you say that from the point of view of this whole podcast, Don't Let the Old Man In, is designed to have conversations with men in midlife in order for them to help generate a new sense of purpose as they're progressing into later stages. Because for men, often work is the purpose,
Yes.
full stop.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once that no longer becomes as important, or as the
Yeah.
identity is not as wrapped up in that as it might have been in the past,
Mm.
or for some of us, we realize, okay, I've gone as far as I can. I'm not going to go any further. This is it.
Mm.
Then what's my new sense of purpose becomes important. And what I think what you're doing is you're opening up almost like a treasure trove of optionalities
Yes. Yes.
about become relevant again by contributing in different ways to
Yes.
society.
Yeah, it's actually noticeable. I actually was surprised by that second phenomenon. The first, the deep friendship, and the second is the male cohort seems to be exhibiting a whole different set of behaviors. 2 months after, 2 months into the program, they're much more outgoing in terms of speaking, and they walk with a higher energy. It's just amazing to watch.
That would be exciting for you.
Yeah, I'm still trying to understand the phenomenon. If had I known this, I would have maybe, being a researcher professor, I would have done some research work doing the before and after.
That's right. Yeah.
But I didn't do that. So now it's just observation.
Let's jump to the purpose projects, because that's possibly one of the reasons why you're seeing such a change in energy, possibly.
Yes. Yeah, possibly. So the purpose projects, what I do is I have them sort of propose projects, and then I have them pitch it to each other, and then I make it so that they can, each fellow can be a champion of one project and be a team member of another. So maximum participation is 2 projects, maximum champion is 1. But you don't have to be a champion. You could just be a team member of 2 projects. This way we get maximum impact of collaboration and cross discipline and thinking. So out of this, we have 8 projects already from the 21 fellows. So I'll list some of them. It's quite interesting. 2 projects have social impact. One is on mild cognitive decline or dementia, in looking at how do we bring awareness for this. So one fellow is championing that. Another fellow is looking at the caretakers of children with special needs, autism specifically. So another fellow is looking at, along with several members. We have one project that's very interesting, looking at financial diagnostics for retirement.
Okay.
And the premise being that, yes, we have a lot of banks that will actually sit down with you and do the fill out the form and give you a diagnosis, but it's not. The premise being it's not comfortable for people to do that. Whereas they're using tech and using voice input and using an avatar to make you feel very comfortable to speak. And then, of course, then do the financial diagnostic. So we have one project doing that. We have one that's looking at integrating recent immigrants, particularly from mainland China, who are more or less sticking to each other in Singapore, not integrating. Okay. So he's looking into how do we integrate them? How do we get them to see the benefits of integrating into Singapore? Okay, so he's doing that one. We have one project that I love this project. It has to do with how do we change the narrative of longevity, which has always been around health, health span, right, being healthy, to one where it's around joy. So he's trying to change the narrative for that. And it's just wonderful to see. He's one of the gentlemen that I see who actually you can see the visible difference in his whole physical demeanor, how he interacts. It's really obvious. So he's doing that project. We have one project that is actually, in this cohort, they're wonderful. They want this to last, this kind of program. So they are creating a bursary under NUS. We don't want to call it bursary because it has a meaning of undergraduate. We're going to call it a fellow fund or fellowship, because for the future cohort, when they come up with projects, there needs to be a mechanism to fund these projects. So we're trying to create so one project is doing that, it's creating that mechanism. So it's great. They're taking it on. They're already thinking of longevity of the program. It's wonderful.
What really strikes me is when you think about university systems anywhere in the world, bachelor level degrees, the measurement is getting you into work. Master's level degrees is the measurement is advancing your career.
Right.
What you're doing is creating value for society is the measurement of this program.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, yes. We think of it as the third transition, right? You think of the old days where the first transition is, learning a specific knowledge set so you can be employed, So think of a T, right, in how you think of education. Then perhaps you go and learn another discipline or further studies. You have the pie, right, with two vertical sticks coming out. Now you're think of Marina Bay Sands with that 3 towers. Yeah. That maybe we should have multiple disciplines and there is a third transition. And that's what we're doing. Although I don't push people to do things for society. That's not why, we set this up. It's not meant to be a social program. Okay. It's meant for the fellows to come in, whatever suits their purpose. If their purpose they want is to go and become a lecturer and they want to have a title called Distinguished Senior Fellow from NUS, which is a prestigious title, so be it. We support you. We enable you. So I don't push for anyone to do charity. It's not the reason why we did this.
But it sounds like the programs that you referred to have a societal impact, no matter what.
I think the underlying principle is the same. When you help others, you help yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're doing things that is helpful to other people, it doesn't even have to be at a whole society level. It could just be helpful to your neighbors. If you help others, you help yourself. And this is very important. So it's working out so far. I'm really pleased at how it's turning out.
What have you enjoyed the most?
What have I enjoyed the most? Watching them come together and putting projects together and genuinely learning and applying the learning to create something of impact. That actually gives me a lot of joy. It really does. The ironic thing, I have to tell you, it's quite sad, is that while I created this program because I wanted a product for myself, I became so busy.
You have the time to go to that.
It's awful. I became so busy with all my obligations because I had to run this program, which meant I had to push all my other classes to be, on another schedule, that I ended up not being able to attend these classes. I am so annoyed.
You have to come back as an attendee.
Yes, I know. So once I get this launched properly, actually my intention is very simple. Eventually I want to sort of have the fellows who've gone through the program to take over running the core module, which is what I do now, so that will free me up so that I can just sit in on the classes, which was what I wanted to do. So it's really annoying that I haven't been able to attend the classes.
Well, that's your fast way to scale, isn't it? And just to get other folks getting involved with you.
Yeah, that's my intention.
Yeah. Speaking of scaling and capital, one of your colleagues, Professor John Wong, he talks about older people as capital in terms of how do we reframe the thinking of capital, be it social, human, or economic. It feels to me like you're kind of redesigning a system here to use education as a leverage for that capital. Is that right? And if it wasn't education, would you redesign something else?
I think for me, it was very simple. If I create a program that has education as its center, we attract a certain kind of people. And if you put this certain kind of people together and give them a psychologically safe environment, and then add to it the social affirmation of doing a project together that's helpful, magic will happen. That's essentially it. I don't want to use big words like human capital. That's probably too noble for me. I just believe that if we can get a group of people who have good intentions, very smart, have resources, and put them together in a social affirmation environment and say, let's do something good together, magic will happen. That's essentially what I think.
And it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.